Hello, ladies and gentlemen, it's me, LeVere, and political commentator here. I'm going to do a video about Jim Cornette. He is a white trash, hypocritical libtard. And any chance he gets, he likes to bash conservatives and bash Donald Trump. Any chance he can get. I'll turn this up a little bit. And the hypocrisy and the ignorance coming out of his damn mouth, it shows me this person's not well educated. He never does any kind of research. He acts like Democrats can do no wrong, supposedly, which is basically ignorant as it is. I mean, yes, I'm a conservative. Yes, I'm Republican, libertarian, but I will admit that there's a lot of Republicans that I disagree with, like Mitch McConnell. I don't like Mitch McConnell. I think he's a piece of trash. Mike Pence, Bobby Jindal. There's a lot of, even though I'm a Republican and I'm a libertarian Republican, I don't agree with everybody, or I don't stand with everybody who's in that party, because I have my standards. I do have stuff that I believe in that I don't see eye to eye with every one of them. And I think the Democrats are a lot worse, to my opinion, compared to the Republicans, but I still see the faults and the problems with the Republican Party. But in his mind, in his ignorant mind, he thinks, oh no, Democrats are wrong. And I'm like, it's just the hypocrisy and the ignorance that he has with his non-biasing. The thing is, also, he's a wrestling promoter. I tried to get into the wrestling business when I was younger. And, when I was younger, a lot of these wrestling promoters, they're hypocrites, they're white trash, and they're scam artists. And I've tried to be in the wrestling business, and I'm not the only person complaining about this, how some of these wrestling promoters in Kentucky are pieces of trash, and thanks to the Wrestling Commission, they try to play favorites with wrestling promoters, and you have to have a license for everything. It's stupid, and it's really ignorant. Here's the video of Jim Cornette.
How are you? How was your Thanksgiving? It was all right.
I sound like a nerd.
I don't know. It doesn't, it's not as exciting as it used to be. Well, it's not, I guess for people who used to be pilgrims, it's more exciting.
Okay.
And also the Native Americans who Donald Trump besmirched and slurred and smeared last week, the Native American war heroes. Maybe it's more exciting. Well, no, they ended up on the wrong end of the stick. Remember when you were a kid?
Okay, this is the hypocrisy that he comes up with. Donald Trump was insulting Elizabeth Warren by calling her Pocahontas. The Native American soldiers in World War II, who the veterans are, got the joke. Donald Trump got the joke. The only people who didn't get the damn joke, and I talked about this in my last video, Elizabeth Warren, blonde hair, blue eyes, that's not Native American. She used that for her advantage to basically scam her way through Harvard Medical School and going through political science just to screw everything over by using the banner that she's Native American. She's not. She's native of Sweden or somewhere in Europe, but not Native American. And these Native American soldiers, these proud Native American soldiers that Donald Trump gave respect and gave them reward for their courage. Again, he's dumb enough. He's an ignorant moron. He has like I said, no intelligence at all. He hasn't looked up any information about this at all. The guy's an idiot. If you at least dig into some research and what he was meaning and how he said it and what he was talking about, and looked at both sides of the argument, instead of just watching CNN, the crappy news network that is known for pathological lying, then he would know what's going on. But no, he just follows what the media says because he doesn't do any research.
And they used to have the pictures in school and etc. And of all the pilgrims and the Indians, the Indians showed us how to farm and eat and do all this stuff, and we had the big Thanksgiving. And then, 30 years later, now we know, no, we were raping them and killing them and fucking stealing their land and driving them off to the Trail of Tears. But
I do agree that's messed up, and it was horrible what we did to the Native Americans. And what people forget, Thanksgiving's origin came from Abraham Lincoln making it a popular holiday. You know, and then started at when we first got there from the Mayflower. And when we did all these horrible things to them, we were a British colony at the time. It wasn't America until 1776. If you look through the history that we have. And, you know, and at the same time, before we even got here, there was tribes facing off against each other in war. So they were at war with each other before we even got there. So it's horrible about the past, and it's messed up. And I celebrate Thanksgiving because it's a holiday to give thanks to, you know, the stuff that you have and family. That's why I see it. I don't picture it what other people picture it with Native Americans and settlers. That's just a storybook. That's just a story. You might as well say that's Santa Claus.
He's got the last laugh because now they get to casinos. What Indians there are, Native Americans there are.
See, this is the hypocrisy and the ignorance of Jim Cornette. He calls Donald Trump a racist, supposedly disrespecting Native Americans, supposedly, hypothetically, but really he was not disrespecting them. He was disrespecting Elizabeth Warren, who claims she's Native American, which she's not. And he goes off and says something racist. Jim Cornette, you white trash, bigoted, narrow-minded jerk, by making an assumption that Native Americans own casinos. That is a racial stereotype, Jim Cornette, and you're a racist, and you're a hypocrite by saying that. Do you think every Indian casino is owned by Native Americans? The answer is no. Okay. Sometimes people had to sell these casinos off just in order to make ends meet. And living on a reservation is not. It's not a good thing. It's like the ghetto. Living on reservations are not good. There's roaches. There's violations of health code constantly. I feel bad for Native Americans living in those situations. And, you know, you act like all these Native Americans are doing just fine because of the casinos. Well, that's wrong, Jim Cornette. Not every Native American owns a casino and knows somebody who owns a casino. So the ignorance that comes straight out of your mouth of a negative stereotype it just shows me you're a hypocrite.
I didn't know Indian was somewhat of a no word these days.
You talk about the PC culture there.
Everything is. But I never meant any disrespect to any Native Americans that I called Indians because we were trained to do that.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know, it's weird how we've gone to this point where you can't say anything. I was watching a Don Rickles routine the other day, and I was just like, man, this is hysterical.
See, they're complaining about the PC culture and the political correctness culture, but that was popularized by the left. Jim Cornette, you are a Democrat, and you're the one who voted for this kind of PC political correctness censorship culture. I mean, this is the hypocrisy that comes out of your mouth. You know, I mean, God forbid we can't watch Mel Brooks on TV because it's not politically correct and people get offended because of Mel Brooks. I mean, come on, it's comedy. But that's the thing is, you know, all these people who are in office, who are in control, you know, to Hillary Clinton, to Obama, to Bernie Sanders, some of the stuff that comes out of their mouth is PC political correctness culture BS. And it's true. That's why we're in the situation is now, Jim. And not only that, you know, you had issues with Brock Lesnar in the back room of Ohio Valley Wrestling being disrespectful. You had the Second Amendment right. You were threatening to shoot you were threatening to shoot Brock Lesnar if he was going to attack you. And you had the right to defend yourself. Okay, Democrats are known for trying to take away your Second Amendment rights, Jim. The ignorance. That you're voting against your best interests. That's your problem.
Well, everyone's having a great time, and you couldn't say any of these jokes again. Nipsey Russell sitting there laughing his ass off.
PC culture. You're voting for it in. You're voting for that stuff in.
Everyone's having a great time. You couldn't say any of that today.
Well, you know, it's not the words, folks. It's how they're intended. Just like it's not.
Exactly.
Matt Lauer, apparently he's a prick now. We found this out. And I don't even know. I haven't even investigated this. This is just the headline from this morning as we're taping.
You haven't investigated yet. Okay.
I haven't investigated yet to get to the bottom of exactly what the hell is going on around here. But it harkens back to what we...
See, this is what I don't like about these hypocrisy, ignorant wrestling promoters that I experience, and they try to rip me off. And not all of them are like Jim Cornette. I'm not placing all, and I'm not saying all wrestling promoters are like that, but I'm just saying the sexual harassment accusations. Okay, there's Bill O'Reilly. There's people have been accused so many times from the right and left. You have to realize, Jim, there's people on the right and there's people on the left who are corrupt, evil, and messed up. There's good and bad in every political party. You just sit there, you sit there and point out all the negative about the Republicans, but completely ignore about, Harvey Weinstein being an advocate on the Democratic Party, ignoring Joe Biden, creepy Joe Biden sniffing little girl's hair. I mean, you completely ignore this, and you also completely ignore that Bill Clinton has been accused of rape 4 times and went to court 4 times. And it's just, look, there's pieces of shit on both political spectrums.
That last week, Al Franken versus Roy Moore. A district attorney using his political power to intimidate and instill fear in teenage girls for the purpose of getting in their pants. Or a fucking comedian at the time sticking his tongue in the mouth of a radio DJ on a USO tour and getting, told off for it and whatever the fuck. There's levels, there's degrees, folks. But I think it's not the words, but it's the tone of them and whether they're intended in a loving or a hating way, and it's not the actions necessarily. Well, in some cases it is the actions, but it's the intent of those actions. Yeah. For heaven's sake.
Who knew when the Today Show did the yearly segment they did, Where in the World was Matt Lauer? The answer was Under the Desk with the Intern.
I even think that's pretty funny.
It was Charlie Rose, now it's Matt Lauer. Watch out, George Stephanopoulos, you're next.
I even think that was funny.
But hey, I still think once again, if they're gonna fire all these people,
oh my god,
fire Trump. Any reason at this point,
really?
Fire Trump.
Really?
He's catchy, funny as fucking well.
Whoa. Wait a minute. Fire Trump. Okay, the economy's doing better. He's gave more money towards the CPSU, the college African American College Fund, and he's doing a damn good job. The economy's better. He's actually maintaining the country, unlike a few other people that was in office. He's doing his job right. This the medium just trying to make him look bad. I mean, there's some things about Trump I dislike, and there's some things about Trump I do like. That same thing with Barack Obama. There's some stuff about Barack Obama I simply just freaking hate, and the media never mentions about it. But there's some good things about Barack Obama too. So I mean, it's not like I mean, yes, I'm more right leaning towards my viewpoint on politics, but at the same time, I mean, I will give credit what's credit's due. Obama did some good things, but also he did some shitty things as well. So I mean, why do you need to fire the president of the United States? There's so many people in office who needs to be fired. The hypocrisy and ignorance that comes out of his mouth. No, Trump is doing a good job. There's a few things he's messing up on. I'm kind of against, and some of his policies, some of his I don't like. But still, give the man a chance. You're not even giving him a chance because, again, you don't have the bias, the ignorance that you have is like, oh, you're always on the Democratic side. Oh, they can't do no wrong, and you're ignorant.
Mistake, fire Trump. Just before he does any more damage, I was going to do this in a minute, but we've led into this. These fucking lunatics, the Republicans, first they wanted to fuck up our health care. I don't trust them to do anything with anything major.
I don't trust
and so far, we've gotten our wish because they've done nothing. Because they've gone so far out in the field that they can't even get all of their own people to agree on shit they want to do, much less any of the Democrats, which thank goodness they're there to try to put up a buffer, but they've accomplished no legislation whatsoever in almost a year now in office for our Cheeto-in-Chief, President Pisspot. But he has done a lot of damage, as we mentioned.
Jim Cornette, you have no room to talk, dipshit.
But with the executive orders, things he can do on his own, he's deregulated everything. Of course, they already had a spill at the on the.
See, that's the problem is with regulations with businesses. Big corporations are not hurt by that. You know that, right? It's these small businesses that go through a lot worse. A lot of these regulations fuck up a lot of these small businesses. You could have a business owner that had 15 employees, and that business goes down, there's 15 people also on the streets. So don't sit there and tell me this crap. These regulations are actually funded and actually lobbied by big corporations in Congress. And I'm not saying that, all of them are, but there's some lobbyists who are to the point lobbying for bigger corporations for regulations because they can squish the small people, the small businesses. And that's the thing is I don't get, because he's a moron. He never did any research. Again, he's ignorant. He never does any research. He never looks into things. It's ridiculous.
Dakota Pipeline. But
I don't.
They can deregulate things, and he can do things on his own to satisfy, his buddies. So we know what happens when deregulation takes place. The one thing he can actually brag about is the stock market.
Okay. Again, like I said about the regulations, and that's the thing is I disagree with the pipeline for the simple fact is it's going through people's backyard. It's going through residential neighborhoods. It's going through Native American land. And I'm against the pipeline for that reason. I have no problem with the pipeline itself. I mean, I think oil is a good form of energy just as much as any other form of energy. And I mean, yes, I do believe there should be some regulations towards that. But again, you never did any. I feel like you're a person who never did any formal research into the pipeline. And if it was really cracked, that's what I'm questioning.
Because it's up. You know why it's up? That's an example
of
why the stock market is up. What happens when you have the problem children all in a study hall class?
Yeah, it's like it's a bad thing.
They're being punished. It's all the ones that ass off and cause problems. And the teacher leaves the room. Shit starts flying through the air. They know that Katie barred the door. The one reason why the market is up, not because if you like the economy, thanks Obama. But it's gotten even better because now they know nobody's watching us. The corporation.
See, the problem is he acts like it's a bad thing that the stock market's up. I mean, you got to be kidding me. There's more jobs out there. I work 2 jobs. I'm getting overtime from both of my jobs. So, I mean, the stupid ignorance coming out of his mouth, he really...
And the billionaires and the blah 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 and they know nobody's watching. If they do catch us fucking people, we're probably not going to get punished for it. Look at the pretty monkey over on the wall, distract everybody. That's why the market is up, and I've made some money on it, but I still recognize that. It's because they know that they can fuck people again, which is what, under the last Republican administration, led to the great financial crisis, because nobody was keeping an eye on these fucking people.
Okay, you're doing the comparison between George W. Bush, who fucked up our economy, between Donald Trump. They're totally different people with totally different ideologies. Just because they're the same party doesn't mean they're the same thing. You look at Bernie Sanders and Hillary Clinton. They're the same party, again, but 2 different ideologies. They have 2 different types of different opinion. They have 2 different types of way how to, in their mind, what makes our country would probably make it work. For them, in their mindset, they can say, well, I think this would help. They would have a disagreement. It's not basis on party. It's basis on the persons, the people who are in that position of power. And Jim, you sound like a fucking moron.
And everybody who works for a big corporation or a conglomerate or whatever may not be evil, but the people that run them usually are, folks.
Yeah.
Crooked, greedy, fucking capitalist pigs. Pigs, I say. So they deregulate our food, our air, our water, and our financial system, and then they make more money because we get fucked and poisoned. So now...
Oh, it sounds like, I don't know, a lot of the Democrats, because they own the media, they own Hollywood, they own a lot of these corporations and businesses. I mean, you really think about it, I mean, you're bashing on the idea of capitalism. You really think about it, I mean, we make money off of working places, Jim. We make money off of working hard for our money, Jim. And why do you want to bite the hand with feet from and destroy that? Now, I don't care about these millionaires and these billionaires. I really don't give a crap. I mean, as long as I have myself a good job, pay my bills, and work myself up in a better position, hopefully, to make it to middle class or actually higher than middle class, I don't care. But honestly, you just want to punish everybody who worked hard and bust their ass to get on top. And I will say some of them are pieces of shit. There's good and bad in everything, and I will say that, and you will admit that. But the hypocrisy that comes out of your mouth, that you just want to hold the poor person down, that's what it is. Somebody gains up a little bit, you want to overtax them. That's what Democrats are known for doing. They nickel and dime you to death out of taxation of about every little thing you have. They tax you for your car, they tax you for living, they tax you for using water, they tax you for, having trash, they tax you for just to live. The hypocrisy that they want the state to control everything is purely ignorant. We know the government's corrupt. Corporations, yeah, they're corrupt. But the government's way worse. And a lot of these corporations use the government so they can be lazy and not make money to the point that they let the government make the money for them.
The one thing they're thinking about passing, the tax reform, Brian, $1 trillion to corporations, hundreds of billions of dollars to the rich, including the Trumpino crime family, and a $1.95 to all of us.
Okay, mainstream
it's
media.
It's not tax reform. You can't call it that.
Controlled by multi-billion-dollar companies.
That's what they're calling it. They're reforming things, all right. They're forming them into a very ugly image. But
okay, the thing is, Europe's doing fairly decent in their economy, and the reason why they're doing a little bit more better because they have a lower business tax for businesses of a corporate tax. That's how there's more small businesses in Europe. About 90% of small businesses, after about a year, goes bankrupt. Thanks to our system of government, it fucks over small businesses because the corporate tax is a lot more here in the United States. What's wrong with this lowering the corporate tax to get smaller businesses ahead of the competition? But no, Jim, you don't want to listen to the facts. You don't want to listen to reason because your head's up your ass and you're always about Democrat because you don't want to listen to it.
And he says, folks, we're going to give the middle class the greatest Christmas present of all time. Yes, he's going to fuck you because the people that vote for Trump apparently...
Again, never looked into any facts. This is a tax cut for lower and middle class and the rich. It's a tax cut. Again, we're getting less taxes. I'm getting more hours. I work 2 jobs. What's that tell you? What's that tell me, Jim? That you're full of shit.
They don't get laid enough at this point.
Okay.
Or if I'm not supposed to say that.
You can't wait. Then you don't get laid. That's it.
Can they not see at this point? And every responsible journalist in the world, which is basically almost all the networks except Fox News, has presented the facts. Congressional Budget Office, going to cost $1.5 trillion minimum. The rich people are going to get the breaks. Some of the poor people...
Okay, mainstream media has been caught several times lying and BSing their stories. Okay? I mean, Jim, really? We have a president of the United States who's calling out their BS and their crap, but yet, with your supposed non-biasy, that you trust these news networks, again, controlled by multi-billion-dollar companies who screwed you over back in the day when Bush was around, you want to follow their lead. Wow, okay.
We may pay a little more. The middle class won't get anything. Somebody said $1,200. Oh, joy.
Research.
I wonder what I'll do. Bermuda, you think, Brian, on $1,200?
I don't know how many times we have to go through this fucking trickle-down shit before people just will acknowledge it doesn't fucking work. If you...
Okay, you talk about trickle-down economics. I mean, I don't agree with it fully. I mean, there's some parts of trickle-down economics I do see that could be a good part of it. I think we should have a percentage of tax that is cut down the middle. That's just my opinion. No, nobody from each class should pay less or more. We should just split it down the middle. That's how I feel about it. And I think that would work a whole lot more better. But when Reagan was in office, the economy was fantastic. It was awesome. Jim, you were around back in the 80s and 70s as a wrestling promoter, and you had a lot more crowds back in the 1980s because you had more middle-class people who was willing to spend money to see your damn wrestling shows back in the 1980s in your territory days when wrestling was big. And that was thanks to who? Ronald fucking Reagan. So, I mean, some of this BS that comes out of your mouth that the Republicans are trying to screw over the middle class, well, that's a bunch of BS. You look at Reagan, okay? Look at the 80s. That was a prime example how the economy was booming back in the day. So, shut up.
Give money back to the richest people. They, at best, may reinvest some of it in their company. Usually they'll pocket it. Usually they'll buy back shares of their company. Usually they'll issue bonuses to executives. Very little of that money goes to the middle class or the lower class who never get mentioned. It's always the middle class. What about
I'm making more hours. What are you explaining that to me? Explain that to me, buddy.
And then if you go the other way, you give tax cuts to the working class, and they have more money in their pocket. They spend it. They put it back into the economy, and it makes everyone money. I just don't understand how many times, and I'm somewhat conservative with some of my fiscal thoughts. You know, me and you have argued about the estate tax. But to me, it's just so stupid. Just how many times do we have to do this trickle-down shit before someone will just say, yeah, we're just giving money to the rich people just because?
Yeah, and you know, and the estate tax, it affects so few people. But wouldn't you know who won the pony? The first president that would probably be affected in any major way by the estate tax is the president that wants to get rid of the estate tax. He's not even sneaky about it. He's not even good. He's not a good liar. He's a fucking buffoon who just...
Jim Cornette, you're a buffoon, okay? He was given his advice, okay? There's a difference. He was saying to other states, I think we should not have any state tax. You never do any research, Jim Cornette, and I swear you're a very narrow-minded, ignorant moron. I swear.
Stumbles through and blurts out.
How about this right here, Jim? I want to pause it one more time. How about this, Jim? How about you go back to Louisville, Kentucky, and start ripping off people like me again? Like people like me. Never met Jim Cornette. Never even went to Ohio Valley Wrestling. I'm just giving an example because he seems like one of these people who, and I heard stories, that they rip people off by selling them a dream. They throw them in the wrestling ring to train for about a few times and say, oh, well, no, we don't need you. And they kick them out quickly. Just take their money, just to sell them a dream. I mean, some of these, again, wrestling promoters are scam artists, and they're bullshitters, and they're white trash. And this is the one thing I don't like about Jim Cornette. He just runs his mouth and talks a lot of shit. You know, I mean, he thought it was so funny when you had He thought it was so funny when Rand Paul got physically attacked and beaten up by his next-door neighbor, but yet, when you got punched in the face by somebody from Combat Zone Wrestling in a Ring of Honor wrestling ring, non-scripted, somebody just went up in a shoot match and just went and punched him right square in his face and broke one of his teeth. And because he was running his mouth up talking shit about Combat Zone Wrestling, well, Jim, you kind of deserve it because you're just running your mouth about it. And when you were in WWE, and the crap that you, the running your mouth against the wrestlers, and they decided to use your car in a parking lot brawl match, and they tore that up. They did it on purpose because they probably think this guy's an asshole. What is this? Fuck his car up. Basically, that's what it was. So, I mean, you just run your mouth and talk crap, and you wonder why that somebody from Combat Zone Wrestling jump over the barricade and punch you right square in the face. Because you talk a lot of shit. That's what you do, man.
Whatever he fucking thinks of. And that's why we're in this problem.
Whatever, dipshit.
Because there's a government shutdown coming up. Probably. Hopefully the Democrats stick to their fucking guns. Goddamn Republicans shut the government down over their fucking foolishness.
Again, that was
7, 8, 9 years ago, whenever it was. Democrats can give and taste their own medicine. But we could be at war with North Korea just any old day now.
North Korea has been a problem ever since Nixon, Reagan, Kennedy. That's been a problem for the longest time. So I mean, this is nothing new. You're bringing something up that has been a problem for decades and decades and decades, and you just now blaming it on Trump. Really?
There's all these, the tax issue, all these problems going on, and this fucking numbnuts is in charge. And sooner or later, we've been wondering when he would fuck something up really bad. Well, now he's the juggler with 4 balls in the air, and he's not really that good to begin with, and somebody's shining a light at him from the fucking crowd. He's going to drop something sooner or later. And then all you dumb fucks, I blocked a bunch of them again on Twitter the other day.
You're a fan of censorship. That's one of the things I note about liberals and progressives and Democrats and all these, the far left morons here. With Jim Cornette, he's going to any kind of different opinion or logical opinion that you question his opinion and you criticize it, he just automatically blocks people constantly. That's like the same thing with Al Gore, with the Filthy 15, with Tipper Gore, with Twitter, with Facebook. You can't sit there saying anything conservative. They will kick you off the platform. This is the hypocrisy out of Jim Cornette and the ignorance that comes out of his mouth.
All you dumb fucks that got us in this mess.
Oh, just like you, Jim.
Because you couldn't recognize fucking phony and a con man when you saw one.
Oh, just like Hillary, right?
I hope you're suitably fucking chastened when you're selling pencils on the fucking street corner out of a tin cup.
Well, Jim, to be honest with you, I think I would be okay because of all fairness, I'm doing pretty good. I'm working 2 jobs. I'm getting overtime from both places. The company's doing great. So I really don't get the hypocrisy, the dumb crap that comes out of your mouth. Jim, you can't accept the fact that, look, Donald Trump is the president of the United States. Get over it. Talk to you guys later. It's me, LeVere. God bless America. Bye.